Pixar's 2008 film WALL-E is regarded by many critics as among the greatest films of the still young 21st century. The American Film Institute, in naming it one of the best films of 2008, said, quote, "WALL-E proves to this generation and beyond that the film medium's only true boundaries are the human imagination. The problem is that the current human imagination is bounded by the limits of its capitalist reality."
Password enter.
The film resonated strongly with the older cohort of millennials born in the late 80s and early 90s who were just coming to political awareness around the time of WALL-E's release in 2008. Barack Obama's presidential campaign was mobilizing thousands of young people with its message of change, and his New Energy for America plan placed a strong emphasis on global warming and renewable energy. WALL-E was well poised to tap into this political fervor with its own anti-corporate environmentalist message. In case it's been a while since you've seen the movie, here's a quick refresher on the plot. Hundreds of years into the future, Earth has been reduced to a dusty sphere piled with trash. All humans have evacuated the planet and are kept suspended in a state of overfed techno-distraction, nearly bulging out of their red spandex onesies aboard a large luxury spacecraft.
The jewel of the B&L fleet, the Axiom. Spend your 5-year cruise in style, waited on 24 hours a day by our fully automated crew, while your captain and autopilot chart a course for non-stop entertainment, fine dining, and with our all-access hover chairs, even Grandma can join the fun. There's no need to walk. The Axiom, putting the star in Executive Starliner.
Because at B&L, space is the final frontier!
Meanwhile, a fleet of robots have been tasked with cleaning up the detritus left behind by the megacorporation, by and large. When the film begins, we see what appears to be one of the only still functioning robots as it builds ever taller compacted piles of trash. This is WALL-E. One day, a sleek, technologically sophisticated robot designated Eve descends to Earth, befriends WALL-E, and discovers a living plant. Eve brings the plant back to the Axiom's Captain Macria, and he determines that the humans must return to Earth to begin to resettle. Macria places the seedling inside a device that automatically sets the ship's course back to Earth. Upon the humans' return to the planet, Captain Macria plants the seedling in the ground and tells the former Axiom passengers that they are now going to become farmers.
This is called farming. You kids are going to grow all kinds of plants. Vegetable plants, pizza plants. It's good to be home.
It is here that many critics and even the filmmakers themselves mistake the film's pessimism for optimism. Prior to this moment, the Axiom has been in space for 7 centuries, during which the crew and its passengers seem to have been totally ignorant of agriculture in the traditional sense. Clearly, they must have developed some form of fully automated food production that is able to sustain the passengers of the Axiom over very long periods of time and to the point of obesity. So why the hell do they need farming? There are far more opportunities for maximizing human freedom and possibility given the technology that's available aboard the Axiom than merely to return to Earth to start growing plants again. Through their decision to conclude the film in this way, the filmmakers celebrate a condition of existence that the humans in the film had already overcome hundreds of years ago. It seems the film is unable to conceive of a potential new and better post-Earth reality for humankind and naturalizes the human condition of agricultural labor, thus exposing Disney's deep-seated conservatism. The film's sharpest polemical barbs are aimed at mass consumerism and the ways in which the ever-present sensation stimulus matrix distracts us from the so-called real world. In his search for Eve, WALL-E bumps into passengers, forcing them to confront their reality in new ways.
I didn't know we had a pool.
The implication of these scenes is that somehow WALL-E's presence strips the digitally networked veil from the eyes of the Axiom passengers, and it allows them to consider their relationship to reality in a new way. But what end could this new understanding of reality serve? The awakening prompted by WALL-E could have led to a new unleashing of human potential, where the technology aboard the Axiom was repurposed to realize new forms of art and leisure, or to explore as yet unknown regions of the galaxy. Yet the end seems to be a return to a pre-existing mode of humanity that frankly seems worse than the existing conditions aboard the Axiom. In his New York Times review of the film, A.O. Scott says, quote, "Consumer capitalism, anticipating every possible need and swaddling its subjects in convenience, is an infantilizing force." But what Scott calls infantilization doesn't seem like such a bad thing. The humans of WALL-E are basically just chilling on a high-tech carnival cruise while robots do everything. Their lives are not too different from that of a retiree. But instead of just a few years at the end of our lives where you can take it easy and not have to work, it's the condition of the Axiom passengers from birth. It may not be absolute freedom, but it beats being a farmer. This point is unfortunately lost on those millennials who fell in love with the film 10 years ago. Those millennials identify fully with WALL-E, right down to his fascination with anachronistic media and the ephemera of a bygone age. Their obsession with collecting vinyl records and thrift store t-shirts mirrors WALL-E's own collection of VHS tapes and Rubik's Cubes. They also see themselves reflected in WALL-E's relentless work to make the world a better place in the face of enormous odds. 7 centuries of cleaning up trash finally pays off. His heroic activism saves the world. Their community gardens and farmers markets give them a sense of a time when we were more in touch with nature. But they are incapable, just like the film itself, of imagining an alternative future. One in which automation, rather than becoming a distressing, alienating force, could become a liberatory one.